Hello again and welcome to the Cituation Room, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. On the Cituation Room, where we talk politics and everything has to do with politics in this country. We continue our conversation with the biggest opposition political party in Ghana, the NPP. As we've been telling you always, the party is preparing to elect national officers who run the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. The party has set timetable for the election of these officers. It has already finished the polling station election or the election of polling station executives across the country. Electoral area coordinators too, they are done. What is left is the constituency election or election of constituency executives. It will move to the regional executives and then the national executives. The party says it will conduct that election in September of this year. As we continue our conversation and bring in individuals who have shown interest in contesting various positions within the party. Today is a big one. An individual who wants to be the next national chairman of the NPP is our guest today on the Cituation Room. He was a former Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the party, a former third vice chair of the NPP. This time around, he wants to be the national chairman of the NPP. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll introduce our guest and we start with the conversation.
From Accra to Buenos Aires, from Lagos to London, the world is locking in for the greatest football spectacle on earth, the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But before the first whistle cuts through the noise, there's a deeper rhythm to the game. Every badge carries history, every player brings a story, every number means something. Welcome to World Cup Central, only on Channel 1 TV.
Hello and welcome to another episode of World Cup Central right here on Channel 1 TV.
Your home of football intelligence with African energy and global perspective. We're taking you beyond the highlights, from powerful eye-opening stats to sharp breakdowns of every qualified nation to insights that change how you see the beautiful game.
Their first appearance was in 1930 and their best
Welcome back. You're watching the Cituation Room, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. On Cituation Room, we talk politics, and we brought up to the NPP's election, the election of officers for the next 4 years, or individuals who run the affairs of the party for the next 4 years. The party has already commenced or ended the election of the polling station executive as well as electoral area coordinators. The next phase of the election is the constituency, regional and national elections, where they will elect national officers. The party says in September this year, it should be done with the internal election process because they are already elected. They are flag bearer, someone who will lead the party going to election 2028, and the person is Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Today is a big one. An individual who wants to be the next national chairman of the NPP is our guest. His name is Mr. Sammy Crabbe. He's a former Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NPP and a former national third vice or chair of the NPP. This time around, he wants to go a bit further to become the national chairman of the new Patriotic Party, the NPP. Before we engage Mr. Crabbe, my name is Sammi Wiafe, and as always, I do this show with Fred Tete Djabanor, my friend and brother. Fred, how are you?
I'm fine. I thought you were going to leave out the brother.
You know, you always be my brother, you know.
Oh, yes, for so many years. For so many years.
Fred, Channel 1 is 8 years. To God be the glory.
To God be the glory. He brought us from the very beginning. Today, the 4th of June, we celebrate our 8th anniversary. So many things have happened. We've been very impactful within the media space. We've spoken and we've told the stories of people from various angles. We've allowed the public to also express their views. We give them credible information, timely information. And today, as we celebrate our 8th anniversary, we cannot say we are celebrating alone. The story of our 8th anniversary is not just about us. It is about all the people who have made us what we are, from management to staff to our viewers. They've all contributed to where we are. And we want to say thank you to each and every one of them.
What's the update on the political scene? Abronia is back in the news.
Yes, I mean, Abronia never seems to go away. Abronia, that's the Bono,
Bono regional chairman of the NPP.
He never seems to go away. In fact, from 2025, when the NDC took reins again, and the reins of power again, he's constantly been in the news. And what has he been in the news for? In 2025, somewhere in September, he was arrested and remanded for making comments against the IGP. He was later released. Somewhere in April, he was arrested once again and released. This time he wasn't remanded over certain comments and publications, accused of making comments and publications which were false and which were causing some harm to the public. In May, he was arrested again. This time he was remanded, and this had been the longest remand he has served. It was a back and forth, and you recall that leaders and party members were up in arms over the remand and continuous detention of Abronia. He was finally granted bail by the High Court later last month. And once again this month, which is today, the 4th of June, Kwame Wiafe Abronia, DC, he went to court, to the High Court, for a variation of the bail order. And when he got there, it got to the attention of the court that he had failed to comply with the bail directives. The bail, one of the things he was supposed to do was to give his passport out, present his passport and deposit it with the court. He hadn't done that. So when the variation was done, the court ordered for his remand. And that's the story of Kwame Abronia. So as we speak now, I'm sure that the police and security agencies would be searching and looking for Kwame Abronia to be put under remand till he complies with the court order of presenting and depositing his passport to the court whilst his case is being heard. This is just the bail issue. The substantive matter, which has to do with the comments and insults of the judge, has not been heard yet. And that will be heard. It was supposed to be heard on the 27th of May, but that was a holiday. So the court would need to reschedule. I'm not too sure of when the date, which date has been set for that particular hearing, but then very soon, Abronia would go back to the circuit court to continue the substantive matter of the comments he made against the president and other people.
Friend, thank you for that.
Before there's one more update. You know the NDC.
The NDC, yes.
The NDC also they are gradually also heating up into their political season, which is the election of national election officers, then to presidential candidates. As we speak, the last directive of the party was that anybody who was interested in contesting any national, regional, constituency executive position needed to resign 6 months before the election. So 6 months being in May for regional persons who are interested in contesting the regional positions. And one person has resigned for the regional positions. The Eastern Regional Chairman of the party, Mark Oliver Kevo, has resigned as Director General of NITA, going back to contest as Regional Chairman of the Eastern Region again. So he has stepped aside as the Director General of NITA, going to concentrate on his re-election bid as Regional Chairman, Eastern Regional Chairman of the party. The other positions, which would be national positions, would also have to resign 6 months. And the 6 months would start counting at the end of this month. So any other person who's holding any executive position or appointed position by the executive, by the president, would need to resign to contest the national elections. A number of people have given hints of their interest to contest the various positions, national executive positions. We look forward to seeing them resign or maybe changing their mind and deciding to remain as part of the government or the executive, not as part of the party. So by the end of June, we will also get to know the number of people who are currently holding positions within government who are interested in contesting national executive positions who would resign. So we'll be keeping an eye on those people and would bring to our viewers whoever decides to resign. Already we've heard a number of people, but we'll play it safe. We don't want to mention names until they formally make the announcement to contest.
All right, fair. Thank you very much for that update. Away from the NDC, let's come back to the NPP, where I'm not sure anybody in the party is resigning because they are not in power.
In the case of the NPP, I don't think that there was a directive for anybody to resign or anybody to resign before contesting a party position.
It was only for DCs. For DCs and MCs who had ambition of becoming parliamentary candidates who were given that directive.
Not a national party executive.
No, just parliamentary. Yes, just parliamentary.
But for them, you hardly saw people who were within government contesting party positions. Yes. So that's the difference.
That was the difference in there. So let's talk about the NPP. Mr. Sammy Crabbe is our guest today on the situation. He wants to be the next national chairman of the new Patriotic Party, the NPP. He wants to tell us his visions, his plans, and his strategy to ensure that the NPP comes back to power or take back power, political power from the NDC going into the 2028 general election and let Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia become the next president of the Republic. Mr. Crabbe, welcome. It's been a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. Are you in town?
Good to see you.
Yes. Good to see you too.
One interesting soundbite by Sammy Crabbe. I don't know whether you remember. If you did and you jar someone, there will be a problem.
But the D and Jine is a problem.
It's painful.
And it caused us a lot of problems in 2024.
Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. Excellent. You know, just to correct something small, I was the second vice chairman, not the third.
Oh, okay. All right,
and then also to loop it back so you understand. I started as an organizer at Ablekuma North. So you see, I've been in the business. Then even though it wasn't a political party position though, if you remember Alliance for Change, we organized the elections. I was a secretary for Greater Accra. So I've been in the game for quite a while. I just wanted to...
Yeah, thank you for that.
You see, in 2024, I observed a lot of things. Instead of really going on the bus, as it were, I called it the bus, and then air conditioning and touring the country with the flag bearer, I thought it was best if I embedded myself in the constituencies and helped them. So I talked to Opariansa, the campaign manager, and then we conferenced with Divine Agoho, the Greater Accra regional chairman. So I was assigned about 5 constituencies, and I chose orphan constituencies because most of it are not. People forget that on that day there are 2 elections running. You have the presidential election and we have the parliamentary. So they look at these orphan constituencies and think that because they can't bring us parliamentary seats, they will not direct resources. I knew very well that if I presented myself in those places, resources will follow because of who I am. So I chose those like Obom Danyabra, Ablekuma South, Ashaiban, Krowo, and so I embedded myself and was with them. And I observed so many things, and that I thought was quite worrying. So our problem is really systemic and structural, in the sense that in Ashaiban, for example, on the day of election at 7:30, we didn't have polling station agents for half of the polling stations. And let me tell you what happened. We met with these gentlemen and women and ladies, and then we said, okay, you know what? We have to definitely, of course, give you something to motivate you to sit and then guard our ballot boxes. They said they would take 500 Ghana. Yeah. And we said we couldn't afford the 500 Ghana, so we offered them 350. They refused. And so when we got into trouble, we were under pressure. We went back to them and offered the 500. And they even refused to take it out. So they were not interested in manning the polling stations for us. And even the night before, we had even accredited agents. And in Krowo, for example, anytime we met, and it was very clear, the executives, the coordinators, and the polling station agents were telling us if we didn't give them money, they would not work. And then engineer.
And these were NPP coordinators?
Absolutely, yes. And then engineer, the candidate himself, he was afraid of his own executives. Because anytime he went around with them, the information leaked to the NDCs. We are afraid. When we met with them, they themselves were asking us to give them, and the regional chairman was there, Afreboy was there, because I was responsible, Seji and all of those other guys. And they were not willing. They were not willing at all to work for the party without us giving them money. Good. On the day of election, I was at Ablekuma West, Kakari Brobe polling station. And at that time, we had two things going. Two things. First of all, the lady who had been given money to cook for the polling agents, as at 4-5, had not even delivered the food. She was nowhere to be seen. And then there was this other guy, we had this program, amazing program called Sharpshooters, where we had people go and try and mobilize people to come and vote. The guy, the sharpshooter for the area, had taken the funds and gone home and slept. And we had to beg him to come and vote for us around 5. We had to beg him, not to bring people, for him to come and work for us. I was at also West Wagon, and we needed to train people to man the polling stations. We also had that same difficulties. The people were telling us that, look, they had everything in their heads, they were not willing to come for training. So we had to try and get students and train. Also West Wagon, such an area, we struggled to do that. I have many examples, but let me even give you a bomb miabra. We had a system we called a tripod, that is the MC, the candidate, and then the chairman. That was working perfectly because you didn't have the same thing in other places. It was working very perfectly. But in Obomdo Miabra, we had a situation where certain people who had not been treated well, they claimed, during the primary process and even when they lost as executives, had not been treated well. They had been tagged Alan. And they never followed Alan to Afafranto. They remained in there. So anytime we went and campaigned, they also went back as NPP people and asked the people not to vote for us. Now, how did we get there? That's why I'm saying that our issues are systemic. We can't dance away and wave handkerchief out of these problems. They're quite systemic. How did we get to a point where when you offer someone money, because you say the boys are looking for money, right? You offer the person the money, the person is still not interested. He said, Didija, because the guy sat down, he weighed everything. He saw people who were his contemporaries move in and get into executive positions and driving V8s. And they give them wiper. And then they themselves believed that they had nothing. And there was nothing systemic that had been, or structure that had been put in place to assure them that even if they didn't get their own today, tomorrow they would get it. Okay, yes. These are all systemic failures. Why would somebody think that they have to walk away with money that had been given to them to prepare food? That person did not believe that he or she would profit from our victory. So these are things that you need to be looking at. I am a researcher. I have a PhD. You forgot to add my title, Dr. Crabbe. And my own is G-Tech proof. For me, they can't come after me because it's a genuine PhD. And I'm even doing a second PhD in law. So basically, I'm a researcher by training. I was embedded and I saw the patterns. That's why I am saying that for someone to come and offer himself or herself to be national chairman of this party, the person must understand what the issues really are. Issues are very separate from symptoms. The person ran away with the money, that's not the issue. People said they would not work for us, that was not the issue. The issue itself is the fact that we treat people like trash after they helping us. It's not only that. I hear people from your fraternity say that they are with us, they help us. At the end of the day, you come into power, you don't even mind them. People have been complaining that they fund us, they contribute to our well-being. We have no system to even identify who they are, measure, and then say thank you. We don't have it. And nature's first law of nature is self-preservation. Everybody is in it for something. Yeah. And if you think that as for you, people should respect your being in it for something because you want to be a minister right now. Right now we're going for election 2028. There are people who have ambitions. They want to be minister, DC, ambassador. They're all around the flag bearer. They're fighting very hard to get it. They've forgotten that if they as human beings have ambitions, the guy in Ashama also has an ambition. Mm-hmm. So, but you can't remember everybody and measure everybody's contribution because the guy in Bungurugu, he's also a member of the party. And he will work for the party under difficult circumstances. So unless and until you build a system that can identify, measure their contributions, and reward them, then I'm sorry.
But Mr. Crabbe, does it not happen in every political party? Because even now, you hear people in NDC who are also complaining that the party or the government has abandoned them. Their national chairman is on a thank you tour across the country. When you listen to some of the things that he's saying, he tries to explain some of these things and reassure party members that it's not as if the government has abandoned these party members who fought so hard to bring back, to bring the party to power. So it's something that happens in political parties. When they win power, there are people who still have misgivings anyway.
That is very true. And 2024, around mid-June, I presented a paper at the University of Aston, International Conference on African Development. And I talked on this side. So it wasn't like native to NPP, even though I observed a lot of things within our party. So yes, it cuts across other parties. But then if you are able to solve that problem, it will set you apart. Because what is going to happen is that your people will be comfortable to help you. You have a scheme, a system in place that will also remember them and reward them. And that is why we have to be different from the other political parties. So this is something that you should have in place that will distinguish your party from the others and attract the other parties. So I'm even happy that they are not doing it well. And we have to do it well. If we do it well, it will set us apart. We shall win this election and win elections on and on. I keep telling people this. Look, it's not going to be too difficult for us to make it in 2028. I mean, if you look at the data doesn't care about you and I, our feelings and whatever we say. The president, John Mahama, he didn't have an explosion. He increased his votes by about 6.1%. That's what he did over a 4-year period. The population growth rate in Ghana annual is 1.9%. So over a 4 years period, his votes never really increased to catch up with even the population growth rate. He never did. So cumulative annual growth rate, he never really got there. And if Dr. Bawumia had had the same number of votes that Nana Akufo-Addo had in 2020, he would have beaten John Mahama by about 138,700 votes. That's what would have happened. So our problem was within. The fact that there were certain people who did not believe in what we were doing. And then they were, so you need to come and resolve those issues. I'm also a lecturer at a university in the United Kingdom. I teach leadership and change. I teach organizational behavior and artificial intelligence, future of work. I also teach sustainability and responsible business as well. And what I teach my students is very simple. When you have the rhetoric and outcomes don't match the rhetoric, you need to look at the systems, right? So we have a situation where nothing is matching. We go and talk plenty, but the outcomes are not really matching. It means that we need to look at our incentive systems. We need to look at our staffing models. Do we train people when they are on board? Because when you elect people, they don't really get trained because it's by popular vote. So even if, excuse me to say, if you drink at Peter Shoes, people are popular with them, they'll elect you, to be an executive. But then thereafter, we need to be working on you. So the staffing strategy, what do we do? What do we do to build the capacity of these guys? If you continue to build the capacity over a period of time, that's where it gets to. Incentive is a didija. What can we put in place so that these people will not think that we are didi and jaying them? Because if you continue to do that, they also continue to take your money and treat it as end of service benefit. And at the end of the day, nobody gets anything. Okay.
Mr. Crabbe, let me take you back. In 2008, if I'm not mistaken, you were the Greater Accra Regional Chairman ahead of the 2008 elections. Yeah. You managed to bring your party to power and win a number of votes and parliamentary seats in that particular election. Fast forward, a former Greater Accra Regional Chairman went to become second vice chairman. Then you went out of the executives. In 2024, like you told us, you were assigned to certain constituencies. Your party failed woefully in the Greater Accra region in terms of parliamentary seats, from 20 to 6. You were part of the people campaigning in the Greater Accra region for your party, especially for the parliamentary seats. What went wrong for your party if it comes to the parliamentary seats, not the entire elections with presidential, but for parliamentary seats? Because as national chairman, which you want to become, one of your things you're going to focus on is how the party wins more seats. As we speak now, there's nothing to write home about with the number of seats you have, you can change and absolutely do nothing in parliament. And it starts from the Greater Accra region. So what happened in the Greater Accra region, and how are you going to fix that outside the systems?
Okay. It is a systemic issue, so it doesn't really matter. When I got to them, sat down with them, I blew myself, I had meetings with them, because you see, all politics is local, so they have a lot more local knowledge than you ever have. If you are sitting down there as a national chairman, how can you know everybody and everywhere? These guys live in the locality. You know, they go to Kojemo. You know Kojemo? Yeah. Outdoor. They go to weddings with the people. They are with them. The people chop their money. There was an executive who even told me that now people come for money for abortion. You know, they are with them constantly. They know the area better than you would ever know the area. Even if you should visit the area, to be like some flying visit. So basically, if systems are created and they are prepared, because in Greater Accra, I remember that when I became regional chairman, I realized I needed to work on their capacity. It's not been done now. So I had Peter Lajete, I had Odoi Sykes and Benanan come in and work with them on how, to actually work within the constitutional framework. So it was over a year. I brought Dr. Roger Cranton from GIMPA. He also came in and taught them how to manage resources, human beings, and other stuff. So we brought them all together and constantly we trained them for a year, building their capacity. So when they were approaching things, or when you put systems in front of them, they understood exactly what they were and could work with it. And that's what powered Greater Accra, even beyond when I was there. Now, 37 days to election, that was when I finally, after collecting the data from them, designed the strategic plan for Krowo. 37 days. 37 days. It's not like they don't know, they know. But you need to organize whatever thinking they have, whatever things they have in their head, onto paper, structure it so that everybody can work off it. They didn't know how to do it. Even putting together a budget was a problem. You know, it's a systemic issue. You need to train and retrain, because the campaign has some amazing programs like Get Out the Vote, what do you call it, sharpshooters. A lot of things were amazing, but the capacity of the guys had not been developed well enough to carry those programs through. You don't do these things 5 months, 6 months. It has to be something that's been done year round, and that's what we did in the past. Now, so that's one problem with Greater Accra. It's not been done. So I met people who were never really ready. And we were trying to train people, even a month to the time, they were not ready to be trained. They were not even trainable. They didn't even see the importance of training. That's not what you do. When you run in this region, you need to make sure you prepare your people towards it. And that's number one. Number two, there's also that perception that Greater Accra is dominated by people other than Gans, Gandangways, and Ewe. It doesn't really, the data doesn't support that in any way. Akans, the Akan block, Ashantis, Fantis, that block, they've constituted about 39% of Greater Accra. 39%. So 61% is the Gandangway Ewe block. You know, a few northerners here and there forming it. But as electorate, meaning those delegates, they are largely Akan, because over cycles, the party has become unattractive to the Gans and the Airways, because it become very monetized. And you know, people, my people, we don't have that much money. So we are not able to compete, and therefore, we end up having Akan domination in the electorate. So they end up selecting people who certainly are close to them. They do that. Once that is done, then they have to now come and face the 61%. And then the funny thing is that the concentration of the Ga votes becomes even more prominent and more important, because on that election day, because you're talking parliamentary, they go to their villages to vote to select their MPs. So then they leave these people they've selected to the Gans and the Gadangwis, and they slaughter them. So you see, so that is another reason why it is so. I've also thought about it. You know, if you look at the Greater Accra regional chairman, from Peter Lajete to Odoi Sykes to Jake, and I took out from Jake, and then onwards, structurally things started falling apart. We were not just people; we were men about town. Alajete was an institution in himself. Jake Ojebjalante was an icon. Odoi Sykes, solid, and me, even at that age, 38 years or so, when I came in, I had built the biggest private company in Ghana, ACS BPS, the first business outsourcing company in Africa. I built it from 0 to 2,600 employees. I had built, at that time, a medical transcription company, first in Ghana, second in Africa. We were processing dictations from doctors in New York. We were doing that here. I was building Ghana International Airlines. So even though I was young, I had an MBA. I was a man about town. And I was a dancer. I used to dance with Slim Buster, Ajetu Sowa, Reggie Rockstone.
Jimmy Quest.
Charlie,
You dance with Jimmy Quest?
Joe, Charlie Bolly. No, I was a Kobolo. I was a man about town. So when I became Greater Accra Regional Chairman, not only had I been an organizer at the constituency and then Kumi Preku, I was also somebody who was actually known. So I brought eyes to the party. Now the party has become some way, the systems are broken down. It's forcing people to pay for abortion. So they don't actually go out there to build coalition. Because Greater Accra have to build coalitions too. That's one thing too. Greater Accra is not only Gadangbe, but it's also other tribes. It's not only other tribes. It's also people, you have the highest middle income block in Greater Accra. If you're looking at academics, engineers, journalists, everybody's concentrated here. So to win Greater Accra requires someone who knows how to build coalitions. I would go to Legon, give a speech. People will gather, pay to come and listen to me, and I did not talk politics. I talked business. Because they knew that they would come and learn something other than that. I could walk into a room and hold myself up. So when you're electing a regional chairman in Greater Accra, given the composition of Greater Accra, please know that that guy has to be someone who can bring eyes to the party, not someone who come and pay for abortion and then do warfare.
Mr. Crabbe, are you one of the people who believe that the quality of persons or people whom have led the NPP in the last few years have dropped? So you talk about, you give me an example of Odwe Sais, an example of yourself, an example of Peter Lajete, and you talk about what they came to the table with. Are you saying that the quality of persons who have led your party in the last few years have dropped, hence your party finds itself where it is now?
Absolutely. And it's a systemic failure. You get the point. You see all these gentlemen you talked about, they did excellently. And then they went on to become a national chairman. And they performed. Because Greater Accra here, if you can become chairman of Greater Accra, you can manage the country. This place is the country. Everybody lives here. And they all go. And then they come. And you can tour the whole country and know what to do. So that's important. But the quality, I would dare say, has dropped. And it's systemic. Why? Why? Because the way our selectorate has become, it requires that you go look for money and it's transactional and you pay people. It doesn't require you to build a coalition to make it. You understand? So if you can find that money and then buy them, you can become the chairman. Once you become the chairman, now you have to come and talk to you. Can he talk to you? Can he hold himself out when he meets with doctors and lawyers? It's the same thing at the national level. Can the person really hold out? So this NPP party, you see, we belong to an association of democratic parties around the world, like Democratic Union of Africa, like International Democratic Union. If you elect a national chairman, can he go out there and hold his own? Can he engage them? Can he engage the chairman of the Republican Party? Can he go and meet Badenoch? If that person walks into a room, what is going to be the response? Because you see, these things bring you resources. When you move out there and you can hold your own and you articulate very well for your party, and you are the leader of the party, their eyes will come on you. They bring the resources. If you put people there who don't even know what it takes to go, okay, they don't know what is going to bring anything. You can elect the person because your selectorate has become very transactional, but now the person has to go and deal with the rest of the world. They don't take money. When you go and you meet Donald Trump, he doesn't take money. If you go, he cannot make some coherent decision. He won't even mind you. How are you going to go to, I led a delegation when I was second national vice chairman. I led a delegation to Botswana. Okay, when we got the DUA, Democratic Union of Africa, when we got the president of Botswana, his party was a member of DUA. So we had to meet with them, and even the Westminster Foundation. You engage them. At that point, you have what it takes. And I'm not talking, let me land on this, I'm not even talking about business, talking about academic, even political. I keep asking people this. If your child falls sick, would you take your child to the best carpenter in the world? Would you? You wouldn't. Now, if you need furniture to be made for you, you will not go to the best doctor in the world. You see? So everybody and the track that they choose, you have to mature through the political process, because unfortunately we don't have a school somewhere that says, come and let me train you to be political and know how to manage a party. So the only way you can learn to manage the party is to start and rise through the ranks. So you understand and can think like the people do think. 2027 is 1 year. 2028 is an election year. You understand what I mean? It's an election year. So we don't have time to think. If you elect someone who cannot hit that ground running and has to learn how to convene a polling station election, a polling station meeting, doesn't even know how to call. He hasn't even been to NEC, National Council. Doesn't even know how to deal with regional executives. You think that guy, you will give him time, or the NDC will give the guy time to learn how to do it?
Mr. Crabbe, please hold on. When we come back, I'm going to ask you a question about whether you have the money to run the campaign, because you've talked about monetization. But let's hold on and take a break at this point. This is the Cituation Room. We've been having a conversation with a national chairman aspirant of the NPP, Sammy Crabbe. He wants to take over the national chairman position and lead the party to the 2028 elections. When we come back, we'll ask him what is his plan and what is the agenda for the NPP for 2028. We'll be right back.
June is for business here at City FM and Channel 1 TV. This June, the ideas get bolder and the future of Ghanaian business takes center stage. Welcome to the City Business Festival 2026. For the entire month of June, 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV bring together the thinkers, builders, innovators, and dreamers shaping the future of enterprise in Ghana. From powerful business fora that spark meaningful conversations to insightful on-air discussions with industry leaders and change makers, to stories of resilience, innovation, and ambition from Ghanaian entrepreneurs. This is more than a festival. It is a movement of ideas, strategy, and impact. Whether you're starting small, scaling big, or simply dreaming of your next breakthrough, the City Business Festival is your platform to learn, connect, and grow. Join the on-air series every weekday at 9 a.m. on the City Breakfast Show on 97.3 City FM and at 11 a.m. with a repeat at 6 p.m. on Channel 1 TV. This June, let's challenge businesses. Let's refine ideas. Let's create impact. Call 0205-973-973 for further details. City Business Festival 2026, driving ideas into impact. The City Business Festival 2026 is powered by 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV in partnership with Absa Bank, and it's proudly sponsored by Absa Bank, MTN, Zondatech Ghana Limited, and Petra Trust.
Welcome back to the Cituation Room, where we have been continuing our conversations about the NPP National Executive Leadership race. We've been discussing who would be leading the NPP as a national chairman. Today in the studio with us today is one aspirant, Sammy Crabbe, who has been a vice chairman of the party before and now wants to be a national chairman of the party. Mr. Crabbe, we talked about your systemic issues and how you think that these systemic issues, when resolved, would help the party win 2028. In the conversation, you raised a concern about monocracy, where now the party has become the it's become the owners of the
highest
party
bidder, you know,
are now the highest bidders. You also mentioned that you do not have a lot of money, or you do not spend a lot of money. It's about ideas and what you think should be done. Politics in your party has changed. The last time you were contesting an election, that was in 2014. In 2026, it's not the same politics you knew in 2014 that we have now. There's a lot of money, as you said, exchanging hands, convincing people. Do you have that money to run a campaign to win the national chairmanship elections? Or you are going to be the gunman as you are, who doesn't have anything but don't have to talk?
Okay, first of all, I never said that I don't give money out.
Yeah.
You know, you can't run politics within NPP and not give transport and do things, you know. So that I never said that. Then number two, the last time I ran an election was in 2022.
Okay.
I ran against him Tim.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm very current. It's not 2014. I ran against Stephen Tim. You understand? And he won.
Yeah.
So I'm not, it's not like I've been out and I've been irrelevant. No, no, no. And I also told you in 2024, I was embedded and I was working. But sometimes you have retail politics. You know, some people are at the front. If you're an officer, clearly people will be seeing you all the time. But if you are no more an officer, it's difficult for people to know that you are bad unless you come on TV and radio and be talking all the time. And that to me is not politics. Politics is engineering systems so people can win. And also, I don't have to have money. No, I don't. I don't have to have. I didn't think about had money before he became president. No, you have to be resourceful. It's not about your resources. And in my view, if you cannot be seen to be mobilizing resources, because as you build a coalition, those people must believe in your vision to the point where they will put money in, because they are voting with their money. That also counts as support. So you must be able to mobilize. If I have done bigger projects than a lot of people have done in their lives, and I've been able to pool monies together, I'm resourceful enough. The kind of things I've done in this my life, you know, they are huge capital intensive stuff, you know. And for example, when I was at Crowell, that's one. By Crowell, let me say Crowell. Crowell, when I finished everything and I put together their budget for them, I said, now, you see, when you want money, you have to have a budget and then you have to store it. It's when we raise the money. So this is not house protocol. Where you are electing a chairman who will put his hand in his pocket and give you money. It's not going to. If somebody tells you that and you believe it, then you need examination. Because even if you look at our polling station people, we have our 200,000. Are you saying that chairman is going to come and take care of each and every one of them? No way. Absolutely not. It's not possible. They can't. And they and their spouses, their school fees, abortion, they can't do that. So what has to happen is that you need to bring a chairman who is resourceful enough to understand that systems need to be built so that these activities that I was talking about, like training, you know, constant training, preparation of the people towards, those activities can be funded because you need to sustain those activities. So you need to generate. And what I have proposed that you take, for example, the brand of the party and leverage on it. Look at ANC. ANC, they have businesses. We sit down, we structure, we use the brand. The NPP brand is bigger than City. The NPP brand can cause people to do unthinkable things. I don't think City can inspire people to do those kind of unthinkable things that we do. It's stronger than Coca-Cola. And as somebody who has an MBA specializing in international marketing, I sit back and I say, are we okay? Are we all right? Because just this brand, what we can generate out of that brand, just think of an insurance company. We work out the modalities. So I don't want people to be arguing, going back and forth. It's been thought through. But we, one way or the other, have our brand. Can you imagine how many NPP people, even for nothing, those with 1 car, 2 cars, motorcycles and things, if they were to purchase that insurance, can you imagine how much money we can really generate for the party? Because, and instantly, let me tell you something, we will be the biggest insurance company in Ghana. And we'll have branches. We'll have insurance brokers who can go to Paga, get on the back of a crocodile, and if there's a vehicle, they bring the vehicle to be insured. Immediately, you've created employment for all of these people. If we can do this in opposition, we'll also somehow be signaling to the rest of Ghanaians that we, unlike other political parties, will not come into power and come and take your money and use it to take over our people. That's an opportunity we have. There's so many things that we can do to make sure that we show Ghanaians that bring us. We are a different party. We are structural in nature. But if somebody comes and says, what was saying? Even Donald Trump raises money. Donald Trump, he raises money. So when somebody says that thing doesn't make sense. And in any case, we shall all go around. We shall all give money for people's transportation. We all do. Zika flamboyant. So we need politicians. I said that Dr. Bawumia is a rich man, or was a rich man when he came. Or Danado, did he have industries all over? Or John Mahama? Did he? That's not the way politics works. But let me tell you something. When people want to draw your attention away from the issues and things that really and truly matter, electing people who are very qualified to do things, they distract you, they move you to domains that they are strongest at. Because certain people may not be able to interrogate issues, sort out issues from symptoms, and then go diagnose and address effectively. Therefore, they'll come singing and dancing and give you the impression that they are so rich. Go rich. Do you know what wealth really is? And even if you had all the wealth in the world, can you really take care of the new Patriotic Party? Do you understand that? I did a lot. I got them a regional office. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I did so many programs for them. Okay. I did up to a point. It needed to be sustained. Without me, it wasn't able to sustain. But what I did, the center of it all was that I was bringing up people so that those people will learn to take care of themselves. It reduces the burden on the party. It shows them that the party has a duty of care. Those are the things I did. And through that project, it's brought up people like Ajesoa. I brought him from Ododudu as a secretary, brought him to the regional office as an employment resource center manager. He and his people, the top people, they even found jobs for 1,000 people. I built a system that would do that. You understand? I built a system that would take care of that. So many things work and all over the place, and Greater Accra then became very strong. So apart from working on their psychology and their intellect, I also empowered them. And that is how come that people were not dependent on Greater Accra. They were not. You know, I was not always even going to the office. People forget that when I ran for Greater Accra Regional Chairmanship, I didn't live in Ghana.
You still don't live in Ghana.
I'm here and then coming. When I ran for it, I was all over the place doing Ghana International Airlines.
Are you going to be a chairman who is managing the party from Sweden?
I don't live in Sweden. I live in the UK.
Oh, okay.
I live in Chelmsford. I teach at a university in Chelmsford, UK.
Right.
So I don't live there, but I'm here, and I'm here almost all of the time. What I'm trying to explain to you is, I want Nana Akufo-Addo asked me one day. I told Nana Akufo-Addo, like, a lot of people don't even know my house in Laboni. They don't know that. And so really, I say, yeah, but why do you have to come to my house? I'm a regional chairman. Why do you want to come to my house? You need abortion. Go to the party office. If we put systems in place and the system can deliver things for them, solve their problems, they don't even look for you. And I guess that is how City FM has been structured. So that when you wake up in the morning, you don't need to go look for Samens or whoever is up there for you to be able to feel secure and get what you want. When you walk in and then you deliver, at the end of the day, you are paid. So why can't we build our political institutions just as you build City FM? So people are motivated. They know they don't have to suck up to the CEO. If you work, you are in the party, you contribute, regardless of where you are. Pagao, Domio, Akachi. You don't have to come to Accra. There's a system that recognizes you and will help you wherever you are seated, just like City FM.
Okay.
You know, and then we are building a party. So please, ask for money. A lot of those guys who are talking, they haven't even seen money before. They don't even know what money really is, and nobody can take care of NPP.
I take you back to 2015. Yeah. Yourself, Kwabene Japo and Paul Afoko were suspended by the National Executive Committee of the party.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In 2022, when you wanted to become the chairman, contested with the team, it came up in the campaign. Yeah. You think that has changed and it will help? It's not going to come back to haunt you again going to this election?
Oh, I mean, certainly some people bring it up and try to distract, but it's inconsequential. Let me explain to you why. Now, first of all, even going back to what happened, nobody even accused me of doing anything against the party. They went after Paul Afoko and Kwabene Japo. At that time, I was chilling in Sweden most of the time. So they went after them, and then I would come in, and I just thought it was crazy. And I also didn't want to go into the guilt or otherwise or whatever it is, because I'm not with them 24/7. I don't even know what they do. I don't know. So my own was that if you say the guy has gone to sodomize your daughter or your son, or even going to take your girlfriend, or whatever it is that the guy may have done, please, can you process the guy? There has to be due process, because that in itself strengthens us and then assures the person. It's transparent. Let the person go through it, because you wanted to suspend them indefinitely. And I said, and I was right. I said, no. These guys have definite terms. They've been elected for a definite period of time. You cannot suspend them indefinitely. But I knew what their intention was, and I said it. I said, your intention is that you suspend them indefinitely beyond their term, effectively removing them. And if that's your intention, then why don't you go to Article 11? Article 11 is for removing officers. But if you do this, you will be creating a situation where people in Ashama will feel that there's nothing in the politics for them anymore. That's the problem. Because you're attacking the heart and soul of the party. If you do that and everything falls apart, why would I spend money, get elected, and have to be looking over my shoulders to see whether some people have formed a caucus with their friends to remove me? It is dangerous because I should be accountable to the people who elected me. And the Constitution is very clear. He who appoints disappoints. It's very clear. So if they wanted to remove the two gentlemen, what they needed to do was, okay, people came with a petition, that's fine. It goes through National Council, okay? Then, first of all, you need to get a threshold. I think it's about 40% threshold signatures that you bring. And it goes to National Council. And there's no argument. The two gentlemen being national executives, automatically, for 1 month, are suspended. 1 month. It's a constitutional issue. And then within that 1 month, the National Council has to reconvene the Tamale Conference, in their case, and then put it to those who elected. They hired them, so they have to fire them. So you put it before them, and if you got 2/3, which is a mathematical figure, 2/3, 66.something%, then they decide, they go home or they stay. There's nothing like suspension through disciplinary committee of officers of the party. These are special people. And that will strengthen them. They know that they're only accountable to the people who elected them. And then they'll be brave. Because if they're always looking over their shoulders, is somebody going to come after me? This person can take me. He didn't elect me. Then they will then suck up to those people. They are not brave enough to make the kind of decisions we need to win elections. Now, if somebody is also standing back and the person wants to come around, why would I spend money and then come and be sucking up to people who are unelected? Some of the bodies that were going after these gentlemen were just inferior bodies in the sense that they were made up of unelected people. Unelected people cannot determine the fate. If you are not delegates, it's not like you are in a national council that people have even elected you to come to. They say you are representing. You don't represent anybody. You are just a bunch of people have put together as friends. And then you are saying that you are removing people who have been elected by 5,000 people. You are silencing them. You are cancelling people's votes. And those things have a problem. When I became Greater Accra Regional Chairman, Alajite called me to his house in Labone, or cantonments. And then he said, Sammy, you know what, let me tell you this. And he said it in Ghana, I'm going to say it in English because of your program. He said, look, you have been elected as a regional chairman. It's an administrative position. The decision as to who represents this party is a political decision. It is left to the delegates, to the people on the ground. Do not try to use administrative means to usurp their powers. He taught me in his house, in his living room. So I kept that thing. We are only administrators. We have no business trying to decide who represents anyone. The very moment you do that, everything falls apart.
The man you defended some years back is one of the people who is coming up against you in this particular election, Paul Afoko. You have spoken about how you thought the right thing had to be done. People believe that he's one of your closest allies at the time all these things were happening. What has changed? Why are you going against Paul Afoko?
You know, people don't really understand Sammy Crabbe. Me, I'm principled. I went on principle. So you say closest ally. No. The first time I got to know Afoko's house was after the election. And my friend Seji drove me to his house. He wasn't my friend. But the man had been elected as the national chairman of the party. Kwabena Japan had been elected as the general secretary. It was my constitutional duty. I rose my hand to the square in Tamale, swore to protect the constitution. The constitution required that if you want to remove somebody, Article 11, so that's what I defended. That's what I defended. I didn't go to defend personalities. And indeed, let me say this here. I wasn't the only person who was suspended for fighting. In Branga Halfway alone, at that time, 300 executive group police station people. If you go to Ashanti, people were just suspended. Greater Accra, constituency chairman were suspended because we stood up. So I wouldn't say that it's only me who spoke and then got what I got. But there were a lot of people, so I want to give credit to them. They all rose up against it. And they all believed that if you did that, it will weaken. Now what happened? After that, people just sit in their rooms and then they were meting out suspensions. Ashanti region, Aramakutu, sitting and suspending people left and right, as if it was changing socks. You know, then you just suspend people. You weaken the party. Look at where we are now. Who would want to go spend money for him to or her to look over their shoulders? So it was on principle. Having said that, of course, I like Afoko. I like what it stands for and I think Afoko called me and spoke to me. I understood where he was coming from. We are individuals. There was a project, something happened, I came to defend a principle, so he's my friend too. He wants to contact me, fine. I think that at this moment, so many things converge in me. You know, I've been through the mill, me too. I have actually also, you know, I don't want to say plenty because I like people to still keep it in their heads that I was born in Choco. You know Choco? Yeah, I was born in Choco. I was born in Choco, and then I have been through and everything. But apart from everything, boss, I mean, I have a terminal degree. You know, I've also been to school, been through the system, and I've also run institutions. You know, I have done things. I'm very innovative, critically innovative, because I have right now, as you are saying, in the UK, I have designed and developed and built the world's first decentralized equity crowdfunding platform that runs on the blockchain. And it was approved and accepted into the UK Financial Conduct Authority's Innovation Pathways Program. And as we speak now, I'm working with the UK, that is Innovate UK, to take it to market. So I am that kind of person who comes from different angles. Even lectures in systems, how to change things. So I believe that I am the man for the occasion. So anybody else who is out there too can at least come and make their case. You know what I mean? Come and make your case, and then we carry on.
So you're the chairman the party needs now.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Finally, before we go, finally, before we go, in 1 minute, you want to be national chairman. One concern people have is the relationship between the national chairman, who is now leader of your party, and the flag bearer.
Who's the national chairman?
Yes, no, yes. Per your last,
amendment to the constitution, he becomes the leader of the party.
It's always been so anyway.
Yes. So the question is, can the party people trust you to have a very good relationship with Dr. Bawumia to ensure that there's unity and peace ahead of the 2028 elections?
I already have a good relationship with Bawumia. I have a good relationship with him. And in any case, regardless of what happened, just you don't have to listen to me. You have to look at what I did in 2024. That was embedded. I was not doing TikTok campaign. I was right there solving problems, you know, building and solving problems. And that was all in support of him. In any case, I have a relationship with him. We chat and we talk and that kind. But let's put that one aside, okay? Do I really have to be friends with Bawumia to be able to work? It's a systemic failure. Are you friends with everybody in this institution? Not everybody will like me. I don't have to like everybody. But we all have to understand that we all work for an institution. And if we are united in purpose, we will rise above whatever quarrel, because it's not about uniformity. It's not, we don't all have to agree. But we have to be motivated well enough to rise above petty and then know that there's an agenda in front of us. And so if the system is engineered properly, it will not matter whether somebody likes somebody or whether somebody go chop somebody in girlfriend. It doesn't matter. What am I going to say?
Well,
Mr. Sammy Crabbe or Dr. Sammy Crabbe. He wants to be the next national chairman of the new Patriotic Party, the NPP. Our guest today on the Cituation Room that came to you live from our studios here in Accra. I am Sammy Wiafe, and I was here with Fred Djabanor. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.